Hi, it's 4 o'clock and here I am going live. Can't tell you how nervous I feel about this, but that's just, I don't know why that's so ridiculous. I've also got, I can see my laptop reflecting. I've got my laptop next in case anybody is available and does have any questions as I go through this. Hi Trisha, thank you for being here. I'll just get started just to so everybody knows why I got to the point where I went to Newson Health. As you all know, I'm 46 and have deemed myself perimenopausal. I've been tracking my I suppose symptoms, if you like, over the last probably 3 months, and in fact probably more than that, maybe nearly 6 months, and I've identified probably 12 different symptoms. Now, I'm fortunate enough in the last 3 years that, as many of you may be aware, that I've got really in tune with my body because I've really focused on my health and fitness through the My Time for Change program with Emma Wilson Fitness. She helped me understand that a lot of things that were going on were to do with the menopause and perimenopause, but also I got myself to the point where I'm so in tune with my body because I'm healthier than I've ever been before. So I went to my own GP in the NHS probably about a month ago because of the symptoms that I was experiencing. And I said to him, this is all happening to me and what can I do? And it was a telephone conversation, and admittedly I probably didn't push it as much as I could, but his verdict was, you're too young for HRT, you're too young for anything to do with the menopause, so come back if anything gets too serious. So to me, that just summed up everything that you read now about the NHS and and obviously the lack of support that women are getting for their health. So I've again, with knowledge I've been given, then started to also do lots of research myself in terms of looking at podcasts, listening to podcasts even, and looking at the NICE guidelines which have been created for the menopause and different things like that, and saw that Louise Newson was the person that seemed to be at the forefront mainly of the I suppose women's health and menopause. So decided that if I couldn't do it on the NHS, I was fortunate enough to be able to look at a private version. So I got in touch and got on her waiting list, and I was very excited to get an appointment with her pharmacist, because you have a doctor's level, you have a nurse's level, and you have a pharmacist's level. I, with my impatience, which is probably one of my symptoms of the perimenopause as well, although I think I've always been a bit like that, I went with the quickest option, which was straight into the pharmacist. So got my appointment, and that's what I'm going to go through. Just so you know, I'll just let you know this might be too much information for some people, but some of the I'm also hoping by giving you too much information, it might help some of you in terms of what could be affecting you in the perimenopause. So for me, my periods have remained regular, but they have changed in terms of how much bleeding and things. So there was a change happening there, which wasn't majorly affecting me as such. But the other signs that I thought and recognised that potentially I was perimenopausal were the fact that I was really struggling, and still do struggle, with confusion, brain fog, word retrieval, all those sorts of things. And what that does to me is lowers my confidence. So I try and work my way through it at work, if you like. But some days I just can't function properly, and it makes you lose your confidence. You don't think you can do what you're supposed to be able to do. and so that gives me anxiety and obviously pushes my confidence down to the point where you don't believe you can do stuff anymore. I'm short-tempered. I can't listen for very long. There's too much information going around my head quite a lot. Hi Diane, I can see you're watching. I'm really sorry, I can see there are other people watching, but I can't see names, but I can see Diane now, so thanks for being here too, Diane. So the fact I'm short-tempered because I can't cope with too much information and too much noise going on all at once, and also trying to focus on, I mean, we know as women anyway, I'm not saying this doesn't happen to men too, that we are constantly sort of planning lots of things, personal things around our work life. Oh, hi Helly, nice to see you too. Thank you very much for being supportive. So I really struggle and get short-tempered because I can't cope with all that information in my head and feel inadequate because I can't cope with it, and also to do with the brain fog and everything. One thing that has lowered, this may be where it becomes too much information, is lowering of libido. I also have what they call urinary incontinence. So basically, if I have to go for a whittle, I have to go immediately. And unfortunately, a couple of times it's actually being a bit of a disaster, and I've actually gone on to the point where I've wet myself. I'm sorry if that is too much information, but I'm hoping that this helps other people, and you guys know that you're not alone when these sorts of things happen. Hi Nicola, thanks for being here too. I can't wait for my feet to be looked after by you again, reflexology soon. So it's that whole, with all of this going on, you get overwhelmed by everything because you become, I suppose, feel lesser person than you were. So what's been amazing is obviously being able to identify these because of obviously the knowledge I've gained over the last 3 years, and also because I'm so in tune with my body, I can also recognise it. Hi Cheryl, thanks for joining us. I was able to say, right, okay, I think I'm at the point that I'd like to explore what other options are for me. Now, obviously, the caveat that I've got with all of this is everything I'm going to talk about is based on my health, my family history, and obviously what's happening to me. So each of you should, if you feel or notice any of these symptoms, should explore your own versions. Now, I know there is also other people that would say no to HRT because they have alternative medicines and things like homeopathy and things like that. Hi Katie, thanks for being here. Love that I'm sharing, especially things I can relate to and not really happy about sharing my own experiences. And that is absolutely true, because that's the thing that all of us fear, is talking about it and being out and open about it all, because, well, one, it's seen as embarrassing. Two, to say I'm menopausal. I mean, I thought the menopause was something that happened, all the pictures portraying menopause. You have to be, I don't know, late 50s, grey-haired, falling to pieces, whatever, not when you feel like you're in your prime and just at the point where you get, things are starting to ease off, because your responsibility if you've had children is starting to ease a little bit in terms of they're a bit more independent. However, then obviously you sort of end up looking after your aging parents. So there's all these things coming in, isn't there, as we're changing and things. Hi Steph, thanks for being here too. So I had all of these symptoms, and I thought, right, I want to work out a way of helping myself on top of what I'm already doing. So I already look at my nutrition. I already look at ways of helping with my well-being. So as I mentioned before, Nicola's here, and she helps me with my, she does reflexology on my feet, and then there are other things, and I will go into more detail about those at another time. Yeah, Katie, that's right. As an alpha female, you do tend to think it's a weakness, and you don't allow yourself to have all of these issues, because you shouldn't have them. You feel like you should be able to conquer the world and conquer all. Hi Wendy, thanks for joining. So I I decided I wanted to take action. I decided that I wanted to use Newson Health because I wanted it to be I suppose as part of the experience is going to the ultimate, the guru currently of the menopause is Louise Newson. So I decided, because I could, that's what I wanted to do. So I had my appointment, and Helly, you shouldn't believe it's a weakness. It's not a weakness. By us taking control and looking at how we can help ourselves, and I know for a fact that you've done some amazing things to help yourself, then obviously we're demonstrating our strengths, and the more we can put into the pot to help ourselves. So with the HRT Newson Health, I was really excited. As I said, I was informed in so much that I've been tracking what I was doing, which so I knew I felt strong in that sense. I'd done some research in addition to what I'd learnt, so I knew some of the terminology and what I wanted to say to them. But actually, when I got on the call, they're based in Stratford upon Avon, so it was a Zoom call. So it's a bit strange because you think obviously that you should be having all sorts of different tests in order to have HRT, but actually she set me at ease straight away. She was lovely, friendly, because I was a mixture of excited and nervous at the same time, because this is a big step, because I've been very negative about HRT in the past because of all of the press about it being a bad thing because of obviously breast cancer, and that's and that's really true. Tina or Tricia, I think it is potentially the media putting pressure on us all, but I also think as women we don't talk about it openly enough with each other, so it's not a subject we feel comfortable talking about, so therefore we're putting extra pressure on ourselves that we shouldn't be feeling like this because nobody else seems to be feeling like this. So the call started with Newson Health. She made me feel like she just walked me through. I'd filled in a questionnaire beforehand, and which was all about what fitness classes I did, healthy eating, lifestyle, did I smoke, how much did I drink. I was quite clear about the fact that generally I don't drink unless I'm in party mode. So as long as I'm not in party mode too often, we're all right. So there was some really good bits of stuff that she went through everything. So she checked my age. So the fact that apparently I scored 23 on the symptoms. Not quite sure what scoring 23 on the symptoms list is. Hi Janine, thanks for being here. That's ace. So I scored 23 on their symptoms list. The fact I'm 46, the fact that there is no breast cancer history within my family, and I think that's relevant because when the study was done on HRT initially, it was to do with the fact that they may have tested more women who were of the age where there were likely to be breast cancer cells there. That's a really good question, Katie. I don't know what the score 23 actually meant. I mean, when they talk about symptoms of the peri-menopause, it seems to be infinite now. There's all sorts attributed to it. And to be fair, if you're not aware of the peri-menopause, most of the symptoms that you think you're having, you just think is because life's so pressurized with work, potentially children, potentially aging parents, and all the other things. But it may not be. What we're saying now, but yeah, so I don't know what the 23 was a percentage of, but it was good apparently in terms of being considered for HRT. so I think it's a good thing. I'm not entirely sure. So she walked me through everything, and again, one of the most amazing feelings being there. Now I 3 years ago I was probably completely lost in terms of my health and my well-being. I don't mean to go on about this story, but basically I weighed 5 stone more, I didn't do any exercise, and for my whole life I've yo-yo dieted, and I blamed being overweight on absolutely everything. Now, in many ways, there is an element potentially of you can blame being overweight on things. However, I wouldn't have even considered having the conversation about HRT because there was an element mentally that I thought I didn't deserve stuff. I was that, I don't know, I mean, completely wrong, obviously, but yeah, I was that probably low in terms of my own worth, if you like. So to get to the point where I was able to have a conversation where I was able to say, yes, I do fitness classes. Yes, I do cardio. Yes, I do strength. And this is all credit to Emma Wilson because the whole time I'm like, well, yes, actually she's told me that. And yes, she's told me that. And that, so the fact I do cardio, the fact I do weight bearing, and this is applicable to all women, all of us should be doing these things. And also the fact that I was doing restorative exercise. So I know, Janine, sorry, I don't mean to pull you out, but I know that from you've introduced me to yoga, and I've experienced some of that, but also with what I do with Pure Stretch with Emma, and those sorts of restorative exercises are massively important in terms of how we look after ourselves. So it was great to experience Newson Health and go in there about HRT, but actually they wanted to know about your whole self. And as I said, to be in a position where I felt confident in talking about the fact that I knew I was looking after myself. They asked about supplements, and again, because I've been educated over the last 3 years about supplements, I was able to say, yes, I take this, this and this. And so, and that added to the, I suppose the confidence that they had in that potentially HRT was going to be the right thing for me, because I was making sure I had I was looking at a holistic sort of looking after myself. So so they covered all of these things, and so the in a nutshell, where we're at now is that it's Express. I'll tell you what. So as long as I paid the money, obviously, because at this point, because I'm going private for now, then obviously I've got to pay for all of my prescriptions as well as the consultation itself. Now, they are very clear, Newson Health, about the fact that they want to sort of, if you decide to go down the private route, that they push you back towards the NHS as quickly as possible. There are elements, as I'll come on to, that aren't available on the NHS, so there will be parts that I will need to continue privately if I choose to do so. But they are very keen, and I know that they're doing a lot to educate GPs, because they're not given much education in the system about the fact that this is a natural transition, that every woman will go through the peri-menopause and menopause, but everybody's experience and severity of what's happening is also obviously down to them. The biggest thing I think I read about HRT was the fact that I was investing in my future, which is massive, because I'd never thought about the fact that this is all about lowering estrogen levels as you go perimenopause, as you're starting to fluctuate in your estrogen, your progesterone and your testosterone. And I'd never thought about the fact that actually the lowering estrogen levels have an impact on your future. One of the things that Louise Newson is very keen to highlight is that lowering estrogen levels actually can affect brain function. Therefore, potentially your risk of dementia increases, which obviously for all of us frightens us all to death. Osteoporosis is likely to increase. The risk of heart disease is likely to increase, and the risk of diabetes type 2 as well is likely to increase. So there is many factors. Again, I'm basing this on my own health experience and how, where I'm at, and I do recommend that you explore this yourselves. But based on all of that, I feel that investing in adding estrogen back into my body, that can only be beneficial for my future. And that is certainly where Louise Newson comes from, and also where the British Menopause Society comes from. And the more you read and the more you see in the press at the minute, it certainly is something that is becoming more acceptable to consider HRT. The other thing that is key, particularly to the HRT that I'm about to be given, is that it's body identical and it's a gel. It isn't a tablet form. So there's things like she highlighted to me that the risk of blood clots lowers. Because it's outside your body and not internally. That obviously that risk is lowered and things as well. So the conclusion is that as of tomorrow, I'll receive 4 big pumps apparently, because they give you 4 months worth, but they have another consultation with you in 3 months. So I get 4 big packs of estrogen gel. The estrogen gel, and I will go through this actually. I'll when I've got it all and I've got going, I'll show you what I do, and also actually one of them I won't be showing you what I do, but I'll explain that in a minute. I'll show you what I do, and I can keep you updated about whether I can tell if it's having an effect or not, hopefully for the better. So I'll receive estrogen gel. That estrogen gel is to obviously increase my estrogen levels in my body. When that is in place, and I can keep playing and testing with how much I need, when that's in place, then I will then start adding estrogen. Because I've still got my ovaries, then I have to have progesterone as well. So I have estrogen, and then I have to introduce progesterone, because too much estrogen can be dangerous because it starts to thicken your lining and things like that. So the progesterone is how it's been described as the estrogen is your fertilizer and the progesterone is the lawnmower. So you need to balance it out, but they're keen to make sure that I've got enough estrogen in me before I introduce the progesterone. So that will be introduced within 1 to 2 months. And then the testosterone. Now, testosterone is what is a key hormone for brain function. So for concentration, brain fog, but also for libido as well. So testosterone is something that we do produce, but isn't licensed in this country for women. So because I've gone down the private route, then they source it. I think it's under an Australian license, but I can't be given testosterone until I've had blood tests with them, and I've got to wait for 3 months for that, once obviously we've got the balance of my estrogen and progesterone levels right. So I can update you on that perhaps in 6 months' time as to whether I'm now swinging from the chandeliers and also like have millions of ideas and become an Einstein. I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but we'll see if there's any difference. So so I have to say it's really interesting. It's fascinating. It was really exciting to obviously go through that experience of them talking me through, and also giving you confidence in the fact that actually you're not going mad for the fact that you feel all of these things and these things are happening to you, and also that you shouldn't be putting up with them. As I said, it's definitely got to be right for you. You need to do your own, I would recommend that you do your own tracking. Louise Newson's Balance app is brilliant for that, and that's what I've been using. And also a period tracker. I think there is one in it, but I still quite like, I think it's called Period Tracker, the one, so you can see what your cycles are and you're fully au fait with everything. And if you do all of that tracking, you feel armed with the information to go to your GP. And if you feel that you need support and help, and there are things that are symptoms, I mean, like I said, that it seems to be infinite. I think they're quoting now, at one time when I was reading, it was, I don't know, 39. Now it seems to be 47 or 60. I don't know. It just seems to keep increasing. There's a lot of things that your hormones that are produced yourself affect different parts of your body. I think the next thing, if you're interested, is that I give you updates on whether I suddenly have, I don't know, periods of not being short-tempered. And the part that I was going to say that I won't be sharing how I do is for the urinary incontinence. I want to have a pessary, because that is all to do with the fact that your bladder and vaginal lining and things start to thin when you're losing estrogen, and that's part of the fact that you can't, when you need to go, you need to go. Now, I've also had children, which will impact on that, I'm sure, to a certain extent, but it has become more urgent and more critical than ever before. So that will be interesting, but as I say, I won't be sharing how I do that bit because it is a pessary, but I can obviously advise you how I've got on. So hopefully this has been helpful. Please, if there's anything at all that I don't mind answering questions on anything to do with my experience at all. If there's anything, you can message me privately. If there's anything that you can relate to that I can just go, yeah, that happened to me too. It's just to reassure you, or anything at all, then just let me know. Obviously, I'd love this group to be a place where everyone feels safe and confident to be able to talk about. And I don't want it to be all about the menopause, or but it is obviously something that happens to all us women, and so it's important that we can have an open discussion about it. But thank you all so much for listening. Before I came onto this, I always thought, I'm going to be left hanging. I'm just going to be talking to myself. So I really, really appreciate the fact that all of you have stuck with me. And if you're listening on again later, I really appreciate you listening. And as I said, I think it's going to be my catchphrase now, but this is all about creating our own stories, and thriving and making these post, late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s years amazing, because they deserve to be, and they shouldn't not be. So thank you, Nicola. Sometimes I worry about being too honest, but I'm hoping it might help people. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and looks like the rain set in here in Cheshire and a bit of thunder a minute ago, and I'll stop rambling. Thanks so much. Take care of yourselves. Bye.